This time on Vice Grip Garage, it is absolute total chaos with the Chop Top 35 Ford. We've got engine fitment, and Dave's here to do rear end things. We don't really know. And
it's gonna be fun. We got 3 days to do just ridiculous amounts of stuff. Thanks for having me out.
The 35 Ford truck build begins. I'm gonna start by, well, we gotta repower this thing. And as I mentioned last time, we're gonna use this Ford 302 out of that 1978 Lincoln Versailles, it says, and the transmission, and hopefully that 9-inch rear end that came with disc dinner plate brakes. Now, while I'm working on the front of the rig here, we gotta get this Mopar out, do a bunch of work. I've got a special guest here today, the one and only Dave Chappelle from the Dirthead Shed. He's actually carrying in parts right now that he's gonna need.
Hi, Derek.
For the rear end. So your plan's to 4-link this thing.
Yeah, I'm like the mobile fabricator guy. And apparently Freiberger and Derek have been like battling it out in the battle of like traveling 4-link guy. So this week I am here helping out on the 35 Ford, and it seems like it's pretty stock right now, and it needs to like be able to handle a whole bunch of horsepower.
Yes, hopefully.
Do donuts and burnouts and lay patch, as you hot rod guys say.
Yes, and he's gonna bag it, so it's also gonna lay fenders.
Yeah, no, it should be good. I'm gonna get back there and start figuring out what a mess I'm into. And you also created a mess.
Yes, it's going to be great.
Sweet.
Yeah, so as he just said, he was out west helping Freiberger 4-link his truck, which I got to see, and I was like, huh. Oh God, Dave, don't forget about me. I would like a 4-link too. And somehow convinced him to come out and help, which is rad. He's also put bags on my dually, and it looks awesome. So we'll go back there, check out what he's doing. I'm gonna be kind of just helicoptering that because I've got to focus on that. If you want to see more why he's doing what he's doing and why it is what it is, you can go over to his channel.
Heck yeah.
And check that out, and I'll put a link down in the description for you. And he'll do more words and stuff because I don't understand anything that he's doing. All right, Dave, give me a high-level overview of what's gonna happen back here. Because right now we've got, what kind of setup is this? Like a...
Oh, dang.
Like a...
This is a transverse leaf with the wishbone setup, which it's actually not a split wishbone. It's all just kind of stock stuff, I think.
Yeah. So there's a leaf back here.
Yeah, you've got a transverse like buggy spring, which is cool. There's ways to make all this stuff work really well, but I think if we're gonna throw any horsepower at it, like we will just sort of ditch this whole factory wishbone setup, ditch the transverse leaf, and I will build a triangulated 4-link of some sort and put some airbags in there, and this thing will go low, it'll lift up and not drag on the ground, and you should be able to do wicked burnouts and donuts and all that stuff without having to worry about a thing.
That's awesome. So I asked Dave, is there a kit or something for this that would just like bolt in? And he said, no, I'm just gonna get a universal jobber thing for like, it's like off-roadish or whatever.
We'll dig into that. It's pretty wild. I'm gonna drag out all the parts and see what I got. Basically, I just called the guys at Barnes 4-Wheel Drive and I was like, send me the kit that we did for Freiberger's rig so that I can kind of make whatever happen. So
nice.
This one's actually really neat. Freiberger's truck, the square body Chevy, the frame rails are super narrow on it, and it made for a real challenge to get a triangulated 4-link in there. This one's totally opposite. The frame rails like go all the way out to the backing plates.
Yeah, they're really wide.
So we've got room for days to make cool stuff happen.
And they're kind of already really swept up too.
Yeah, this thing's gonna be good.
Nice. Do we want to take the bed off? Is that gonna make things a lot easier?
Yeah, I would like to get the bed off, and then I think before we do that, we make sure the wheels are centered where you want them.
Okay.
And then take a couple measurements, then I'll pull the bed off, and then it's go time.
Nice.
Sick. It's gonna be fun.
So I'm gonna come back to this here in a minute and kind of the plan and idea and stuff for this. But first, I want to help Dave get rocking back here, get this thing on jack stands, and he wants to do something called measuring. I'm not very familiar with that.
gonna have to go to the store and buy a tape measure, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't even know if I have one, actually. I got a yardstick somewhere. That should work. And then get this bed off, which is actually going to be really easy because I discovered whilst trying to get this truck over here, it's not actually attached anywhere other than, I believe, the running boards. That's what's holding the bed on, and a fuel line. So that should be pretty easy. Dave's unboxing miscellaneous parts. He said he wanted to build this derrick proof. And he wasn't joking. These joints are massive, which is great because we can just use this truck for whatever and not have to worry about the rear.
Heck yeah.
Those are thingamawidgets that go to the where the
Yep.
connects, obviously.
They even come with the hardware.
Wow,
Oh, that's cool.
pretty cool stuff.
All right, I'm gonna unbox whatnot, this and that.
Sweet. I'm gonna throw some air in these tires real quick just so we can more easily get stands underneath of it. Start taking off some hardware, figure out what's holding the front of the box. Yeah, I believe it is just the running board. That's nice. Drove it 650 miles like that. And then we'll come back around to this nightmare situation that is currently unfolding. By the way, it's worth mentioning, I'm gonna have this truck, the 35 Ford, the Cat Farm Crew Cab, and my bagged square body dually at Hotrod Power Tour at Nashville Superspeedway, June 11th, tomorrow. For just that one leg of the Hotrod Power Tour, we'll be in the midway with all the other vendors. We're gonna have a tent, merchandise, the trucks on display. Jessica will be there, the kids, from 12 to 6. If you're in the area or you can make it, come on down. There's thousands of hot rods, plenty to do and see. There's food, there's music, there's doodads, people are handing out magnets and stickers and cup holders and pens. Lots of free stuff. We'll be there. Come on out, see the truck. Give me some ideas. I don't know. Bed's full of junk. Water bottles. I don't drink that stuff, so I know it's not me. Chunks of wood and tin. Probably from the barn build. Some rope. Ooh. Got a good can of PB Blaster.
They sent me the low clearance truss.
What is that for?
That's if we want to put this over the axle and triangulate the floor length.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
I don't know that we'll use it because it's pretty tall, but
just in case?
Yeah.
Oh wow, 40 weight oil.
Put that in inventory.
That's good. Oh, let's go air. Whoever put the hubcaps on, self-tapped them right into the wheels. So the wheels have holes in them.
That's for traction.
Yeah.
You can run lower pressures. Practically beadlocks.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, fellers and fellas, try to give you an overarching plan or idea here. Dave's obviously taking a lot of time out of his busy schedule, which I appreciate. So I'm going to try to learn as much as I can on the 4-link, and I just want to support him getting this 4-link done, but also stay out of the way at the same time. So I would like to start mocking in engine transmission stuff as well, but I'm just going to take you guys along for the ride, pretty much day by day. And hopefully in 3 or 4 days, we have engine transmission mocked, rear end done.
Piece of cake.
And then we can get into engine build. We can rebuild that thing and start working on wiring and try to make this an actual legit truck we can drive around and do cool stuff with, like when friends visit. They could just take this instead of a rental.
Yes, run this thing down to Burger King.
Yeah. Do you know what these are off of?
Those are Lancer hubcaps, 55.
Lancer? Nice.
They're repops though.
Oh. Shelf worthy?
Yeah, definitely. Wall art.
We got wind in the tires. We're gonna get this thing up on jack stands, I guess. All right, we decided to put this on 12 tons. So the roof should be just below the fans up there. I'm starting to remember a lot of...
You're starting to remember why you never drive it?
Yeah, it's, wow. So here's all the wiring fiasco. The brake lines are just tasty. Boy, this is broken, split. We're gonna hopefully get a lot of sketchiness out of this. But at this juncture, it basically just needs a full rebuild. Everything just needs to be redone. So, this is gonna get, here we are. We're there. Oh, lots of crunching noises.
Yeah.
Can you go up again? This is somehow, oh, the bolt's 5 feet long, that's why. Okay, now I'll go down.
Is my sight on there pretty good?
I can't see it because of the excellent exhaust work.
Yeah. You're coming down.
There we go.
Still crunchy.
Well, that's what you get when you run self-tappers into the cab. It's pretty good.
Oh, Derek.
I know.
You bought a Butte. She's a Butte.
Oh, help me. Help me! That sketchiness is coming out. I don't know what that big welded patch is down there in the frame, if that's a frame repair.
It looks like that whole pivot point was like scavenged off of the swing set.
Yeah, that thing? Yeah, there's a nylon locking nut on this side from like a kitchen drawer or something. Oh boy. Okay. We have determined that the entire bed is held on by this bolt.
And one similar to it on this side.
And one similar over there. That is it. That is the only thing holding this on.
Let's do a test. Let's see if we can actually just remove the whole bed with Leatherman.
Okay. Deal.
I will go and start on this side.
Okay.
It's a Leatherman off. Oh, we might have to work as a team. I might need to borrow yours for a second to hold the other side.
Oh, it's got a nut on it. Oh, it does. Here you go.
I've never actually.
You've never dual wielded?
Yeah, this is actually Leatherman. This, that was good.
Yeah, you want those shorting out.
So that was a pot that was just resting straight under the gas tank mount.
It's fine, Dave. What do you mean?
It doesn't even, like, it didn't even go to something. It just went to the battery.
That's the auto short. Taking the tires off so we can get the bed off easier. And looks like we got some wiring to cut for the taillights. Dave's messing with the wiring, all the shorts on the battery. And we should be able to pull this thing off. There's only 2 bolts holding this off.
2 bolts and some hot wires.
Yeah. I think we're gonna rip the fender off.
I think the key is to lift from the front and then look at that articulation in the bed.
It's pretty heavy. Oh wait, we gotta cut the wiring for the taillights. Did you cut your wiring?
No, I haven't. I lost my leather person. There it is. All right.
Hey, Benjamin Button, can you help, buddy? Got Little Grip Garage modifying his mower over there. He's gonna come help lift the bed too. It's all hands on the decks. Oh, they used a lug nut to hold the rod of the tailgate on. Can you lift back here? And Uncle Dave and I lift the front. All right, ready?
Okay. Perfect. Now, you and I need to like lift straight up to try and not crush the fenders. Those things been around. I mean, before it got chopped into a junk machine, it was probably
Junk machine.
it was probably a working truck for most of its life.
Junk machine. Volume 1.
This thing's cool.
Frame's ripped. When you're running that welder around, maybe we should accidentally
We'll fix a few things.
fix all the welds.
We'll fix a few things here and there. Is that a GM axle thing?
Yeah, this is out of a Firebird, 3rd generation Firebird. This is the rubber mount.
Torque tube thing?
Yeah, it's actually a posi. I don't know what to do now. I'm just gonna stand here while Dave.
All right, I
works.
think my plan right now, move the jack stands to the frame, and then I want to take the leaf spring out and jack the axle up and let it touch the frame and kind of see how low this thing's gonna go and where it wants to live.
How low can it go? Oh yeah. Do we need to figure out?
I can tape
do we
measure
want to
that.
look at the other axle?
Yeah,
Maybe we should do the
tape measure.
measuring. Okay.
All right,
We got a Ford 9-inch out of that Versailles.
it's a Versailles.
I don't think that's what it's
Silent S on the end.
It's definitely.
Versailles.
So we're gonna measure, I think, from the inside of the rotors, right? Ish.
Yeah, wheel mount surface to wheel mount surface. That's
And
the
then-
outside of the rotor.
okay.
And then we'll kind of measure like inside of the brake to inside of the brake to see if we have
course.
major issues with the frame.
I would like to get this all back to Ford and unhodge some of the podging that's been had on this. So, like this. It gets, the more you look, the better it gets, worse it gets. So we got this dump axle right here. This is out of that Lincoln. These are kind of the go-to hot rod rear end back in the day because they came with the disc brakes and everything. And we measured this and it is narrower. It's 58 1/4. It's quite a bit narrower. And the brake stuff is massive on this thing. So I'm not really sure what Dave has in mind there. He said it might not be an issue. And then I also stepped on that nail. So that was really good. So that's an option. I'd sure like to use it if we could, but I'm gonna leave that up to Dave because I have no idea what's happening. This, I believe I'm gonna have to change to a different snout thingy. I no longer have the drive shaft that mates to that. And I think we can just switch it over potentially. Not really sure. Well, here's a heavy look at, before we get into this thing, this old frame. She was put to work back in the day. There's splits everywhere on it. And broken welded. This has obviously been added, but I think we're gonna try to patch some of this up as we go along here. This has been, I don't know what they were doing here. I think that's supposed to be a frame repair. This, I think it was stick welded, but there must have been something at one point in time on this truck that made this side of the frame weak, so they fixed it by doing that. But Dave's gonna do some more measuring by doing some travel work with the axle. So we're gonna move these jack stands to the frame, and he's gonna take this leaf spring out and then lift this up with the jack and see how low it goes, what it does, relationship to the bed, and then we can use this device, and I guess it tells us numbers, figure out if the Versailles is gonna fit in here or what he's doing. I don't know. I don't understand it. So while Dave's gonna be digging in back there, I'm gonna come up here and just start stripping and ripping some of this stuff out of here. This thing's basically a boat anchor at this point. Not sure if I'm gonna tear into it and really see what happened, if it's worth the time or not, but for now we're just gonna get it out of here and set it on a pallet. Similar to this setup right here. I'm gonna basically get as much room as I can, get rid of the ignition stuff, strip all the things off the firewall, pretty much get it ready to pull, essentially. Then I can start taking some measurements and figure out what I need to do with all this stuff here. Luckily, we've got a manual rack. This is a Mustang 2 front end. So see how this steering rod just goes right up in with this horrible angle right there. That's how you steer this puppy. This pump's not needed. This thing went full nuclear on me and exploded, if you remember that, and we lost a belt and everything. AC's coming off, this is coming off. The smog pump's coming off. Basically all we have is a charging whirler and the water pump. I may keep this stock setup, or I might put something snazzy on here. I haven't really decided about that. And then this needs stripped down to, you know, just the engine's tiny. It's a really small footprint from here to here. And then we can start figuring out if we're gonna have any issues with like the oil filter, if we have to do a relocation or get something shorter, because that's gonna be sitting in kind of this area right here. We're gonna have to take a look at the exhaust, see how this one's pointed straight down and they've worked it around that. This one's going straight back. May have to do headers, but if we do headers, is it even going to clear anything remotely in here? Oh, this is gonna be great. I think as far as the wiring goes, we're just gonna have to absolutely start over on this truck. I remembered I had to hot wire the headlights. I think that one night underneath the lights of a laundromat, we just got to completely start over. These might be supported by, I believe it is. A little bit nervous about the fenders and stuff. I might just take them off. I will have to make some reference points or something if I do, however, for our distances here. But let's start digging. That bolt's loose. Now. Dave's back there cutting the truck in half. I've got this pretty well stripped down. I'm taking some measurements of placement from pulley to where the radiator was, the old water heater. And then I have a good view now where I can start taking some measurements around the engine and behind the engine, because we're going to have to cut all of this out and virtually start over with Ford. Height, setback, everything. It's going to be completely different. And I hate to say it, but we might even get into changing up the steering depending on how those mounts go. And these have 2 bolts up in there, kind of the same pedestal, potentially the same pedestal style mount as this. So I don't know, not really sure. I think I'm going to continue stripping stuff off of here. These don't come out, so when I pull this engine we got to kind of go over these, and that makes it pretty goofy, to say the least. So I need some clearance here to be able to pull and then lift. So let's get the charging whirler off, some of this other bracket try. But all the wiring is cleaned up. Kind of see what we're down to here. Okay. Oh, so looking this over, I think our biggest challenge is going to be the motor mounts. We're going to have to weld in some brackets. I got some universally-ish things on the way, 2 of them actually, just so we have different flavors to look at. And that's going to be something else. Also the oil pan fitting into this Mustang 2 cross member. This 318 actually has an ideal oil pan for this particular setup. Dave's got the rear end pretty well cut up. He's getting some bolts figured out. We had to run to town, get some hardware. I needed something, completely forgot. What was it?
You needed lunch.
Lunch.
And Tums.
Tums. Bentley needs a battery.
I need air hammer punch and some hardware.
Okay. And then I'm going to continue to work on this junk. I'll probably get this yanked out of here today, so that way there's no going back.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
It'll be good. I hope to have the rear axle out of here this pretty soon and the new one mocked up, and then start throwing bars at it.
Jeez.
Throwing bars.
It's wild.
It should be pretty fun. Let's go eat.
All right. See you in a bit. We came to Tractor Supply to get a couple bolts. Things got out of hand. But you got a new knife.
I did. Got my
Somewhere.
rainbow knife and some peanuts. Let's roll.
Back from town. We got the one thing we needed and about 419 things we did not. But altogether successful. We also had some pretty good Mexican food. Getting closer on having this dolled up to pull. Dave's yanking out the drive shaft right now so I can drain the transmission and start disconnecting that. Kind of working my way forward. Probably gonna have to just the exhaust up here. Probably gonna call Chad, not Chad or the other Chad, or Chad Good or Chad Great, or even Iowa Chad, but Muffler Chad, and see if I could talk him into coming up and figuring out the exhaust. I do have kind of 3/4 length block hugger headers coming, but I have no idea how that's going to fit in relationship to this wonky steering angle and frame. We may end up just using the manifolds. It really comes down to fitment, so I'm not quite sure yet. And a couple of you are going, Derek, did you get new garage doors? Yes. Yes, we did. We finally succumbed to it.
Those are some nice garage doors.
Thank you. The realization was this. A, it was too dingy in here. There was not enough light. After we put those in, we knew we needed more light. And the heat is a real thing in Tennessee. And they would radiate heat like 10, 15 feet off, even where I'm standing. Those non-insulated. Yes, we could have put inserts in them and yada, yada. But here's the great thing. I called my friend and said, do you know anybody that would want to buy my old garage doors? And he said, actually, yes, I'm putting up a building right now, and we need those doors. So I hawked my other doors for almost new prices and was able just to throw them on these. So everything worked out pretty good. Gotta find my hardware for the pull plate. There's one. The exhaust manifold studs are a mess. Also just realizing they cut the frame in half to put a filter in here. Instead of doing a $25 relocation kit, so we're gonna have to look at that. Anywho's. This side, I think I can get the Sazamazols in here. The other side, I might have to torch the studs off because I can't get this in due to the horribly incorrect steering shaft. So let's see what happens. That was pretty easy. That side's done. Now we got the next. See if we could start this engine on fire. Pretty good oil spill on this side, so likely. The exhaust stud. Can't get a sawzall in there. The other issue we're facing is I took some measurements on the oil pan. And by measurements, I just stared at it. And it became really obvious that that front sump traditional oil pan is not going to clear this Mustang 2 cross member in the position that it's in. The engine would be up here, literally. And that's a tremendous amount of firewall work. It would get into our seat, our drive shaft angle would be all wonky. I've ordered one from Blueprint. Doubtful it's going to get here in time. Most likely have to return it. We've called O'Reilly, and we've got our commercial rep working, trying to find something. Dave said something out of Bronco,
Yep.
60s Bronco.
Bronco pan's the one that's got the front sump, is what they were rear sump.
Rear sump, yeah. So we found a marquee online at like wish.com or something. So I'm hustling to get that in here because even to mock this up, I've got to have the right oil pan or I can't get any of my altitude or setback in here the way I need it because, again, the big Big obstacle is going to be the motor mounts.
It's gonna be fine.
I want to torch more stuff. You had all the fun.
I know.
All right. You pull that trigger and smash my hand in here between the manifold and the frame.
All right, ready?
Yep. Okay, go again. And again. Okay, again. Ow! Oh! Okay, as predicted, perfect. Let's do the other side.
All right. Where should we go?
Yeah, drop my thumb around the bolt. Okay. Again. Perfect. That's good. Thank you, buddy.
Yep.
Benjamin's helping me get the motor mount bolts out. I'm using a pry bar to put pressure on the bolt out while he's running the impact here. Okay, try to back it out. Nothing, huh? There. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. Wait. Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Is that it?
Nope. Okay. That might be it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you, bud.
Yep.
All right, you can get back to your lawnmowers.
Okay.
So Guy opted to take the exhaust manifolds off, or at least one, because this is going to get, this was so tight against the steering, shaft, rod, components, U-joints, things down here. I just thought it'd be easier not to wrestle with this. I may go ahead and take the other side off too if it was as easy as this side, and that's just going to give us more maneuverability. I'm also noticing here I may have to take this brake master cylinder off because we really do have to go basically Michael Jordan on this, just straight vertical. And that's going to be in the way. And this is also significantly wrong and needs a bunch of work. I'm probably going to ask Dave how to fix that as well because he does.
You got a killer deal on this ride.
You think so?
What you paid for it, but man,
That was the deal. Dave's impressed with my purchase skills. He says I got a pretty good deal on this thing. Okay, let's do the other side. Little Grip Garage is making a custom dash panel for his mower over there. Dave's ratchet strapping the rear end up. He's got the bump stops out, which you found were not measured correctly.
but I think they were factory. I think Henry Ford put them in personally.
Got a little quick on him, maybe.
It was a Friday at 4.
So he's got the bump stops out. He's taking measurements, make sure things are square. Things are happening.
This whole business is for build.
Yeah. Late Friday afternoon. Truck. It's when you want your stuff built. Well, I was just testing this. This is the ergonomical seat incline position damper for the coal heater. And sometimes these get welded shut just from corrosion or rust. So if you've got an engine that's running poorly, especially after it runs for 15, 20 seconds, it seems like the exhaust is plugged, but you've exhausted all of your options. See what I did there? Yeah, sorry about that one. This dampener in here, I'm gonna call it, for your heating guys, might be stuck, closed. Check that. And I used them all the way into the 80s, I believe. I think my 3rd gen Camaro had them and all sorts of stuff. I'm willing to admit my mistakes, all right? And I made a big one back here. We bought a turbo can of paint because we thought, well,
It's just a bigger can of paint.
right, well, and efficiency-wise, we thought it would be like 7, 8 inches. You could just go frame rail done, frame rail done. I did paint the axle back here. Worked great. I didn't even shake it. The problem is, what they don't tell you is the spray wand.
Oh, this is the one Rust-Oleum that dries right away.
Oh, great. It's 6 feet wide, guys. From this high to the floor that I painted It's intense.
It feels like you should have to go through a week of training before using one of those.
Yeah, there's not enough warnings on that can. Try some of this juice.
Oh, I feel better.
So now, four-linking has turned into, oh wow, that's getting a lot worse.
Floor polishing.
There's so much paint on the floor. Oh, but yes, if you're curious, the turbo cans indeed are turbo. I hit everything within 40 square feet, including the axle.
Oh, it's coming. Yeah. There's that.
Deleted. He's taken the wishbone tubular strut hauser rod bottom axle tube holder things off. I think he's deleting the whole thing at this juncture. He's wrote a couple things on the cab and a few things on his hand. Pretty sure those might be measurements, or I'm not really sure.
The fact that you drove this thing and it had, it had one bolt with a nut on it holding the whole rear end. Everything else was just like hopes and dreams.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
One bolt nut holding the rear end in. That's pretty good. So we're gonna go pluck. I believe the transmission's dripping all over the floor right now. Looks like murder she wrote. It's fine. Once that's done and the blood stain is bigger than the truck, I'll crawl through that, ruin my last good shirt. And then I think we're gonna go pluck the 9-inch out of the trash pile with the forklift that I ran to the ceiling for some reason. And bring that in, and Dave's gonna try to clean that up or see if it's even, I don't even know if it's salvageable. Well, yeah. He said it's gonna work, I'm confident. And then we got a lot of work done today. We're still not done, but we got a lot of work done today, actually. Under the rig, reliving some of this. Here's that clicky-clacky we had to put in. The mechanical fuel pump failed on this. I think we were just trying to get it running. But anyway, just looking over some of the goodness. That's good. And also the frame is severely hacked and butchered and split and cut in multiple places. I'm gonna have to fix that. Guy's washer collection was impressive. They are abundant. We're gonna fill the bins. But anyway, I was just looking at the shifter here. We're gonna have to do something different for the shifter, obviously, from this feller here to a C4 is what I'm gonna be using. And a manual would be cool and a flathead would be even cooler, but look, fellers, we're trying to use what we have laying around. We don't want cars to go to waste. The Versalius got us home. Let's try to use what we can out of it. We can always change this down the road, but let's just stick with what we got. This plate's gotta come out. I'm gonna drain the transmission here in a minute, and then we'll yank the drive shaft out. It's in right now as a plug, basically. And then I'll probably lower this down on a jack stand or something, I'm guessing. And then most likely get the forklift on it. I rolled the cherry picker out here, and it's gonna be very difficult with where the jack stands are positioned, which I kinda need them there to keep this truck nice and level for Dave working in the rear. And I didn't want him under the suspension because that's pretty sketchy as well. But it's not gonna, we'd have to slide it off to one side, and this thing's gotta basically go straight vertical. So we'll probably just end up hooking up to the forklift for a finale tonight and get some hands and legs and pinch points. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and get this drained and start working towards getting this thing unbolted. So Dave just crawled underneath here.
I just pulled this. This is the wishbone mount, which is nuts. Like, this thing has slotted holes in it. The cross member that it was bolted to has slotted holes in it, and it had a piece of rubber between the two. So like the whole time you're driving this down the road, it's able to move forward and backwards and twist. Like, not good. Not good. And it's held together with a bunch of Home Depot butter bolts. Like, you can't do this. Not good.
And we also think the frame might have been spread at this point.
Oh yeah,
right?
this frame would have almost been a true X frame in the middle, which would have like come to a point in the center where it was only wide enough for a drive shaft to get through. Right now it's like a foot wide, which means they cut it at the front and spread it out. They cut it at the back and then like hope for the best as far as like attaching it all back together.
Yeah, it's wild. That's what those cuts we were seeing. And there's a good vantage point from up here. Look at this frame, look at this. You could see where it's been, I don't know if they used a jack or what, but it's just been racked out.
I mean, truthfully, most cars are getting overbuilt these days. Like, the amount of engineering and stuff that goes into some of these people's cars that would build something like this is insane. But this is legit. This is how cars were built in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and they survived. They worked.
Yep.
It's bad, but it's like, it worked.
This is the definition of hot rodding. Use what you have, just figure it out, put it together, and so forth. By the way, Dave's done what Dave does.
Yeah, all that's missing.
And this is gone, and he said, don't worry, there's stuff going back pretty soon. So, yeah, he test fitted some mounts. I don't know. I need to learn how to do this. He is an absolute expert at, you just got to feed him pickles and coffee, and he just, all this will appear again.
Get her done.
You're not going to believe this, but
Derek and I are under here talking about t-shirt sales and merchandising. And then at the same time, the truck is falling apart around us.
that's how loose it was.
It was.
He didn't touch that, and it was wobbling like that.
You should rename this truck the Wobble Pop.
The wobble, I like that. And it used to drive like it too. It's like riding a wet noodle. It kind of just, you made a suggestion, and it would kind of ish
It
go
would
that
run
way.
it through its computer and
Yeah.
spit out an answer.
So that's the last piece of the puzzle, and the engine transmission should be free floating. And now we're going to, I guess, get the forklift out and see if we can yank this junk out of here.
Come on.
It's going to be safe, and
Safer.
yeah.
There we go. All right, that's out of here. Let's get the engine transmission out.
Okay, we're going to try to yak this engine out of here. I got a Remington in the way. No brakes on this machine. I think we're going to use a bolt from the cross member. Oh yeah, we're good. Now, that doesn't seem right. Oh yeah.
Go up. There it is.
Backage?
You're gonna have to go back. You're gonna have to kind of stop.
Master cylinder?
You're on the master cylinder hard. Go down just a little bit. Right there. Try to go backwards a little. There we go.
Oh, that's not good.
It's real sketch.
Oh, Dave.
It's fine.
It's good?
No, but we're fine. We haven't died yet.
Okay.
Let me, this jack stand isn't on anything anymore, but it really didn't.
Yeah, I could probably just lift this up, actually. Oh, I could lift the whole truck. Okay, well.
All right. Down. Right there. Back it up.
Beep. Beep. I'm not an expert, but I don't think that's normal. Okay, so up. or okay, so after these messages, we'll be right back. Oh wow, you are actually. Okay. Shift linkage unhooked. And
Step one.
yeah, I missed that step in the instructions.
Are you you're still okay to drive?
What happened?
I said you're still okay to drive?
I think so.
Maybe
Slightly.
shift this way a little now.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, the lower rad is breaking the rad support.
Yeah. It's coming out now. There we go.
Okay, maybe backage.
Back a little bit because you're on firewall. And then up a little bit because you're on port. Yeah, there it is. Not so up.
That sounds fine.
That's fine. And hold please. Shift passenger. There we go. That's really good. I feel like no more hot. Oh, that. There it is.
It's out?
It is. I think you might be hung up on a self-tapper too. You go back a little bit.
Ah!
Oh, you hit your truck.
Oh, I'm glad the truck was there actually. It saved me. It's out. Huh. That was easy.
This is why everybody should get into cars. It's so easy.
And here's how you change the oil on a 318 Mopar. Yep, okay, things and stuff. All right. Got no brakes, you gotta use the e-brake. That looks like a pretty good Mopar pile. Boy, everyone teased me when I bought this forklift, but as the late Toby Keith would say, look at me now. Look at that. My heartburn's back. It must be the pickles. Whew.
Yeah, like go ahead and set her on down. Go up a little bit. Oh, there we go. She clicked in.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay, firing. Reverse.
That 1-inch angle irons. That's some strong stuff.
It took a beating there. Oh yeah.
That and the master cylinder and firewall.
Well, the flex in this is like,
It used every bit of it. Car building starts now.
it's so much worse now.
Really? Which part?
Like,
Yeah. No, this is an opportunity to fix those things.
I'm gonna go sit down for a minute. Well, here is the old axle, obviously, and that associated junk. And here is the Ford 9-inch I'm hoping we can use. It's a great axle, it's got disc brakes, it's got a highway gear, which is not gonna play nice with the camshaft I have in mind for the engine, but nonetheless, this would be great. It is significantly narrower. Just looking at this, look here, compared to that. Oh wow.
And it's like, it's magnetized. It's going right to its home.
How did we level that on the jack so good? It already looks better, honestly. Wow.
Look at that. Just insert
Done.
the side rear end.
We just need a couple bushings, right?
Yep.
And it's,
New brake hose. I think it'll be.
oh, shocks. We're missing shocks. That's what it is. And then we're done. I was worried about how much narrower this one is, but
It is narrower. We're gonna, when we get to like super low, there's gonna be some clearance issues. We'll figure that out.
We got a hot wrench and a vice grip, so we're fine. Nice. Looks much more appropriate with the Ford 9-inch. I'm in the realization phase that I had a knee-jerk reaction and quickly ordered wheels that would bolt onto here, not realizing this was so much more narrow than the GM one.
I think we're gonna be good, dude. If we have wheels that don't tank test the calipers, so if you have a wheel with less than 5 inches of backspace, we're good to go.
And they're narrow. They're like 6 inches or 7
yeah.
inches. So if anything, they're centered, offset.
This thing's gonna look sick, tucking and skinny in the back there.
So as long as that wheel, what I'm thinking is, because the axle's narrower, it's just got a, you know. I'll go look. Maybe it's here. By luck, happenstance.
We will see. It looks like that wheel's gonna tuck and be spot on.
Yeah, because we figured earlier that bed is going to be like here-ish, right?
Yeah.
And then that's a 215 tire. It's going to have to get stretched. Might have to bead blast it on here. Or just get like a 235, 65 or
That one
something.
will get on there just fine. It'll look good too.
But that's the wheel we're going to go with. Just a basic steel wheel, black. I had a chrome center cap. It's the cheapest wheel I could find. I just wanted something ratty and cheap looking. And I got to order some for the front still. I just didn't know what I was doing up there. But I think that's GM lug on that Mustang 2 front. This is a Flaming River rack, which is pretty cool. That's not the cheapest stuff out there, I can tell you that much. It needs some of these booty do-dimers, whatever they do.
Yeah, this is 5 on 4 3/4.
Yeah, it's a GM, which I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
Swap meet purchase or something.
The rear axle was GM 5 on 4.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, of course. So I'll jump on the interwebs and order up probably some like 15 by 5s or 15 by 6s for the front, because I'm going to try to reuse these tires. I just bought these tires when we brought the truck up. I'd hate to buy new rubber again. They've only got 600 some miles on them, but man, this is going to look sweet. That lowered. Well, actually even lower.
Yeah, this will be like height or all the way up almost.
Right, driving, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to look
Good.
great. Well, it's been a really fun day with Dave here. We've just been, well, we blew the truck apart, let's be honest. At least it didn't fall off the jack stands or anything sketchy. It didn't happen. That's pretty good. You know, you don't want that in a project. Can't be unsafe, Dave.
Safety, you know what? Here's my advice to you. Safety starts with S, but begins with you.
Oh, rear suspension out, engine transmission out, wiring out. This thing is ready to just rebuild. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. Day one, part one of the Chop Top 35 Ford complete. We're going to see you very, very soon. We've got a tremendous amount of work to do. Dave and I are going to sit down and scheme, plan, order, fix, bebop, and do dab. See you soon.